I'm a big fan of the idea of a clean slate. I think that makes a lot of sense, particularly in a world where people are always working on themselves. People who are into self-improvement and people who are into reinvention. I like to count myself amongst those people because I like the idea of becoming something and then becoming something else, constantly evolving. I don't know what the terminal point for that kind of thing is, but I'm keen on finding out. And I think that most of us should make an effort to find out. But that brings me back to the idea of a clean slate. You can wipe the slate clean and try to become someone else, or a better version of who you are. I'm not saying that a clean slate should wipe every sin you've ever committed clean. That's not what I'm selling here. What I'm actually trying to sell is this idea that who you are right now in this moment isn't necessarily who you have to be next. And there's nothing wrong necessarily with who you are, but if you're not happy with who you are, why are you staying like that? I think for the most part, people are afraid of change. It's kind of comforting to know that things are the way they are and that everything's on cruise control. But that's not really how it works. It's a constant battle between progression and regression. When you think you're comfortable, when you think everything is kind of good, and you think you're status quo, what you're actually doing is starting that slow, inexorable backward slide. And that's why focusing on progress is so important. And yes, it's progress, not perfection. That line is very accurate. It isn't about trying to achieve some mythical state of perfection, but you have to give yourself something to work toward. Because if you don't, it's so easy to slip into this sort of non-participation sort of perspective in life, where you sit back and watch, and you're not really part of it. Every time I find myself approaching something like that, I try to remind myself that it's not too late to start over again, to give myself a clean slate. And if you think that you need to start over again, you shouldn't be afraid to give yourself a clean slate too.